Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Little Prince podcast.
We need a whole audience here clapping for us.
Yeah,
Clap for
I'll
us.
be the audience. We just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Before we get into today's episode, we wanted to take a moment and shout out Ghost Energy, who is not a sponsor,
Yet.
but we will be drinking it anyways.
Oh, I squirted.
That is a brief preview of the chaos you are about to enjoy.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have potty mouth.
All right, so JV was super prepared and she actually printed out our agenda. So I'm going to hand it over to her to tell
Okay.
us what the heck we're doing today.
What are we doing today? First of all, nice hat.
Oh my gosh, I just noticed you're wearing a ringleader hat. A ringleader. Hello. That is amazing.
Wing leader. This was
When
not
did you
planned.
put that on?
Like 30 seconds ago. I saw you.
Amazing.
Wait a minute, I have that one.
Amazing.
Yeah,
We're not.
everybody's gonna think we are fourth wing nuts. Which we enjoy.
We do.
But yeah.
It was more because I couldn't be bothered to do anything with my hair, and I'm not a regular hat girly. I'm Canadian. We rock toques. So
I think you pull it off nicely. You have a nicely shaped hat head.
best compliment of 2025.
Okay, well, so let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our very, very first episode of our Little Prince podcast. Very first.
Can you
Tyler,
tell?
what the heck are we even doing? What is this? Why are we here?
Great question. I'm so glad that you put that back on me.
You're
So
welcome.
so we are here because JV reached out and was like, "Hey, would you ever want to do a podcast?" And I was like, with me?" And she was like, "Yes." But we gotta go back because how we actually became friends in the first place, I think is an incredible story.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start with my background a little bit. So it might be shocking for you guys to know that actually I'm not a super seasoned reader. I actually started reading consistently last year. Before that, you'd catch me reading maybe a book a year. And now I can't stop reading them. It's my passion. I love it. It happened when I was pregnant with Daniel. Very, very pregnant with Daniel. Very not a lot of options for mobility. So I started reading. And I decided a little bit later in that year in June that I was going to start a bookstagram because that sounded like fun. I started posting and I started reading indie books, and I had JV who actually reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I think you're really cool." And I was like, "Girl crush, stop. That's amazing." And I would like to send you a book. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, "I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Are you meaning to send that to me?" To And back then I was Tyler's book club reads.
I
So we didn't have
remember. I
yeah,
was,
we didn't
you know
have.
what? I was swiping through your bookstagram yesterday because I was talking to Thanos. For those of you who don't know, Thanos is my way better half. And I tried to like find because I remember seeing your post pop up on my bookstagram or my Instagram feed, and I was like, oh, I love that. You were sitting in your kitchen, you were doing your last 100 pages post of a book, and I don't remember which book that was. Do you remember which one that was?
I think it was right after I think it was a Carly Fortune book. It might have been Meet Me at the Lake, because I was crying at the end of that one. Like
Yes,
that was like I
you
was like,
were.
"I'm sorry. Why am I crying?"
And I was like, oh shit, I need to make her cry. Oh, hold on. My Amazon just went off reminding me that. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
Stop. Of course. Of course it does that. Yeah, so I thought I need She's crying, like, for real. Like, okay, so this is what drew me into you, because I am I mean, I'm chaos incarnate. Even though I'm a very type A person, but I loved how authentic your whole Bookstagram page were. It wasn't, I mean, everybody, it's supposed to bring you joy, right? And I feel so
Mhm.
bad if people put pressure on themselves to, I don't know, I need to read 250 books this year. And if that is really what you can accomplish and what you can and want to do, God, that's amazing. But I also think that with doing a bookstagram, like it comes with a lot of pressure and aesthetics and all of that. And I saw your post and I was like, that is real and authentic. And I really want to see an authentic reaction from a reader to my book. So I was like, I'm gonna hit her up. I for sure thought you were gonna say, go skedaddle. I don't want to read your crap. But you said yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And since then you're like my Canadian bestie.
Even goosebumps on my arm. Why would you ever think that I would be like, no, I don't want to read your book? Like,
It's
it wasn't
imposter
even that.
syndrome.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that I was like, oh my God, I'm getting sent a free book. It was like somebody wants to, one, take something that they spent so much time and love and effort and restless nights and put it into a book and then take that book and then put it into a package and then ship it to Canada. I couldn't believe that. I told my husband, Devin, and I was like, "Babe, somebody wants to send me a book." And he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, send me a book." He's like, "But what do you mean?" I'm like, "But like put it in the mail." Like, send me a
Like, what if
book.
you want to put a stamp on it?
Yeah. And he was like, "Babe, that's awesome." And because of you and wanting to take a risk on someone that like me, and like back then I wasn't even at like 500 followers, I don't think. Like I was still super, super small.
Little candles and stuff.
Yes. Little mementos of just like seeing the growth, right? And for me it's never been about the numbers or
Yeah.
any of that stuff, but really the connections because I've made some amazing connections. Proof positive right here. We're sitting down recording our first podcast. Literally 8 months ago I didn't even know who the heck you were. You didn't know
No,
who I was.
I'm completely, I mean, I'm totally with you because I was just telling Thanos the other day, it always comes back to the husbands. We're gonna have to have them on at some point.
Totally.
Um, I was telling Thanos that like I really feel like so I've published my very first book last September, so just over what's that, 7, almost 8 months ago now, and self-published. And since then, I feel like I've finally in my life like stepped into my community. I don't think I've ever felt more fulfilled, more at peace, have enjoyed the people I converse with more than ever before. I mean, it's just such a great community. I mean, there's drama, and we'll be talking about some of that respectfully.
Yes. Yes.
But I just think that it's just, I don't know, you really get to dive in and lose yourself in stories, and everybody has such different perspectives and just the creativity, and not just from authors, which is what we wanted to really emphasize with our podcast. We don't want to just make this about authors. We want to make this about the readers and the book clubbers and the content creators and the illustrators and everybody who makes this whole book world go round, right? Because it's not just about writing the story, putting the words on the page. It's the people who like pour their heart and soul into it as they read.
100%. And I couldn't agree more because that this is what's so fun about our podcast is we have an author, JV, right? And I don't know which way this video is going to go, so I'm going to go she's either here or here. And then actually she might be here or here because it's going to be in a different aspect ratio. Um but then myself as a bookstagrammer, right? Because there's so much that I love about books, but there's also so much that I just don't fully grasp or understand or just have any kind of an inkling of everything that goes into writing. And
Yeah.
that's why I think having a broad spectrum of different people who are just a part of that world, even readers, like having somebody on with a guest who also read their book,
Yeah.
just it's just opening up this portal, I guess, into everything about the book community. And I 100% agree with you. The book community is amazing. I've never felt so at home, and I've tried a lot of things on YouTube and on
Right.
Instagram. I've been a lot of different people. I've been the fitness girly, I've been the cash stuffing girly, I've been many like daily vlogging girly, and nothing ever really felt like home. And I've always just been like, this is toxic. I don't want to be here. I'm not happy. I'm not enjoying myself. And the book community, while it has its faults, which everything does,
Sure.
it's
Except
it's
for me.
90, yeah, yeah, except for JV, she's perfect. It's 99.99% a great place to be.
It is. And you know what I think it is, Tyler? Like now thinking about it, with all the other things, and I was where you are. I trained to compete in bodybuilding. Um, there's all kinds of also my regular career outside from being an indie author is very competitive, very adversarial, and I think that's exactly what it is with the book community. It's not about competition. I mean, some people want to make it about competition, but it
Yeah.
really isn't, because every story is different. um and that's what's truly beautiful, even from an author's perspective, right? I mean, I get reviews. I try not to look at them too much, but there's the occasional negative review. And, Thanos is really good. I mean, it hurts because you put your heart and soul into writing these stories, but it's truly beautiful to know that not every book and story and content and illustration and whatever you create is for everyone. It really does take all kinds, and you are going to find your people. And that is what's so beautiful about this community. You will find your people. It's
100%.
amazing. Amazing. I
Yeah.
love it so much.
And it's so crazy how a life can change. Like I said, like before I started Bookstagram, I didn't know any of you guys. And even in the beginning stages of Bookstagram, I wasn't like fully an indie reader. Like I've read a couple of books, and then just you opening that door, being like, I'm going to send you a book. And of course, like, I'm going to do an unboxing, I'm going to do a review, I'm going to do my best to put that spotlight on this author and on this book, because one, they spent money to send me something, and it's not necessarily monetary value. It's about like what I can do with my voice and my audience to just plaster it everywhere, because that's the least I can do, like to bring it forward in a way that people are like, oh, I've never heard of that book before. And even myself, a lot of the books, I mean, this whole shelf right here is just books I received in the last like month and a half.
That's so awesome. Nope, no,
It's, it's a
you will
lot.
be the first one to send me a book ever.
What?
Well, I mean, I've
Really?
sent myself books, but no, I'm serious. Authors, I don't get book mail.
I'm gonna start sending you random book mail all the time.
Pity
That's
party.
so cute.
No, okay, who do we want to have on this podcast?
Like specifics or just like
Like
general
in
like
general.
overview?
What's our
Like in
vision?
general? Literally everybody and anybody. Like I want it. We're probably gonna have a form that we're gonna put out there,
Yes.
because we can reach out to 1,000 people and have 1,000 people say yes, and we're like, okay, hold on, that's a little overwhelming. Or we can reach out to 1,000 people and literally nobody replies.
Oh,
So we'll have a form that we'll put together that we can put out so you guys can not apply, because I don't like that word, but inquire to be on the podcast, right?
express your
Because I
interest.
want, pardon?
Express your interest.
Yes, express your interest, because who knows where this podcast is going to go, and we're just literally here having fun. Honestly, we are two moms, we are busy, we are readers. She's an author. I don't really have much else going on in my life besides being a mom and my bookstagram, but like
Full-time
there,
job.
yeah, I guess I do work full time, so I guess
Me
there's also that.
too.
But we're taking the time to do this because we want to,
Yeah.
because we think it'd be so fun. We want this to be hanging out with your besties. Put your
Yeah.
podcast on, put in your car while you're driving, while you're doing errands. You're just hanging out with two girls talking about books. But back to
Awesome.
your question.
Yes.
Literally anybody and everybody. I would love to have graphic artists on. Like, how do they read a book and then they can design something in their brain that just brings that book cover to life in a way that you see it and you're like, I want to read that. I know nothing about it.
Oh, I 100% agree. I think those graphic artists are incredible whenever I get to work with them because sometimes even as a writer, I have a difficult time relaying my vision for my characters. I know exactly what they look and sound like in my head, but then telling a stranger, I'm working with some incredible artists right now for some illustrations for the third book I'm working on. And I was just messaging one of them and was like, okay, here's kind of my vision, and also it's going to be NSFW. So talking to a total stranger about, his pee-pee should be this size, and this is the angle that we're going. It's so strange, but also then she messages me back and she comes up with a draft after like 2 or 3 message exchanges on Instagram, and she's like, "What do you think of this?" I'm like, "Holy bleep. This is like, are you in my head?" It's incredible. I don't know how they do that. I don't know how
That's
they do that.
amazing. I just want to take a moment and be like, did you just get a dick pic, but in drawing form?
That's pretty much what that is.
That's
A
amazing.
requested one, not unsolicited. This was paid for. Paid for dick pic.
If I were to get an unsolicited dick pic, I would want it to be of that variety.
Yeah, an illustrated. Yeah, I
An
know.
illustrated dick
Let's
pic.
not get into unsolicited dick pics over here. Okay, so we're gonna have all kinds of peeps on. Um,
Narrators, graphic artists, bookstagrammers, even just like readers, authors, of course. I mean, you're so more in that world. I'm just a person who picks up a book, reads it, and then blabs on the internet. But like, who else is a part of that creating adventure?
Everybody. I mean, there's the beta and the alpha readers, there's the ARC readers. I mean, everybody who in any way, shape, or form shouts shouts about the book. Or makes it come to life. I mean,
We don't want to know.
it's never just the editor. Please don't tell us if you're sharding. It's never just like the author who writes and the reader who reads, right? There are a million steps in between, and after that there is like the PR companies, the wonderful indie PR companies that help create content, that do quote polls from books, right? I will hire them, I will send them a book because I'm just all over the place, and they're like, okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna pull some quotes that we think would be really great for marketing purposes. I mean, there's so many people that really make the book world. I mean, it's incredible, and I can't wait to talk to all of them. All of them. um
Absolutely.
so our focus will be on indie and small presses, right? That doesn't mean that we won't occasionally mention the big giant, because they are amazing, and they open the doors for us. But there are some differences between trad published and indie published, and we want to do hot takes, which I think is going to be really fun because there's some really good discourse in the book community, right? And as both a reader as an author, I get both sides most of the time, so I think that'll be fun to talk about. Um, so Tyler, I want to do a quick, like, what's it called, like rapid fire with you.
I
Okay.
knew you were talking about this, and I was kind of hoping you would forget. Okay, my brain doesn't work very good under rapid fire, but we'll try.
No, it'll be fine. Okay, okay.
Okay.
So let's just maybe not call this rapid fire. We'll call this a fast-paced Q&A, okay?
Okay.
And okay. So describe your reading style in 3 words.
Oh God. My reading style? Like,
In
would that be like how I read or just like the books that I like? Because gut instinct was like comfy.
comfy.
Like, yeah. Because I always need to be in a comfy place, pretty much in bed with my blankets and a fan. Um, my reading style. I love anything that's fantasy, romance, thriller, mystery, like literally anything.
Anything. You're
Um,
good.
okay,
Anything
so
fiction.
anything fiction. Yeah, I mean, I haven't read a nonfiction. I've read a historical fiction, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, we're getting off base. So 3 words: comfy, Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Comfy, uh, shocking,
Oh,
and um, I literally can't even think of a third word. This is so on the spot for me, of course. Loving.
perfect. What's the shocking?
Shocking is just like electrical shock. No, I'm just joking. um, Shocking is just like keeping me because like if there's no twists and turns in your book and we're just like there's a book I'm reading right now
Mm,
that I'm
your book club book.
200, yeah, the book club book. I'm like 200 something pages in. Literally nothing has happened and I'm like, oh, literally all of it's been like, well, obviously that happened.
Hmm.
Like you're putting yourself in these situations. It's just like it's not gripping, I guess. I guess gripping would be a better word.
Okay, so it's not speaking to you.
It's not speaking to me.
So let me ask you then. I know this is not rapid fire, but do you ever DNF books?
100%.
You do.
I do. I will never DNF an indie. That is a solemn swear that I made to myself because one, it might not be exactly my style, but they deserve the time for me to sit down and read it. And a lot of times, while I might be like, ugh, in the middle, at the end, I'm like, wow, this was actually really good. And sometimes I need to sit with the book
Yeah.
because there is a book that I read recently that I was like, you know what, I'm not really jiving with it, but I sat with it for a couple of days. And when I did my review, because my reviews are pretty much all one takes, it was just my exact feelings. And I was like, wow, I was kind of blown away because I didn't think that I felt that way
Yeah.
until I did the review and I was like, oh, apparently I actually really had a good time.
I
Maybe just
actually
in
really
that
like it.
moment I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that retrospective. Okay, I get that. I'm also a big fan of DNFing books. I very much look at reading books like I look at relationships. I don't want toxic in my life, and if I'm not having a good time, peace out. Life's too
I
short.
Yeah, I love that. I just won't ever DNF an indie. And like I feel an obligation to this book club book because I DNF'd the last one and then we actually just met up yesterday at lunch for like a mom's hangout at the park and
Nice.
we were talking about the books and she was like, "So, what did you not like about my last pick?" And I was like, "Well, I can't show up at book club this one being like I just didn't vibe with it. Like I can't be that girly who just doesn't get along with any of the books that they choose." So,
But
I'm pushing my way through it.
you can. I'm a total mood reader. So it very much depends. I mean, I have a hard time sticking with actual book club reads. I'm on a book club here and I love my book club. I love the community. We're gonna have two of the gals on who founded the book club here in a few weeks, and I'm so excited. They're really good friends of mine. But I've been to book club since November of last year, and I've read exactly two of the books. So yeah, and part of it, of course, is that I really am strapped for time between, career and family and writing my own books and all the things. But also, it just, I'm a mood reader. And as type A as I am and planned out as my life has to be, that is not the case when it comes to books. I'm very much like, I'm not feeling it, so I won't be reading it. Because again, to me, books are meant to be for pleasure. And if that's not what I'm getting, then I'm not doing it.
No, I totally get that. I am like such a weird on like the border of a mood reader and like whatever the opposite of that is
Yeah.
because like if I'm like, "Oh, I'm in the mood for something, but I know I have to read this book next." I will read that book next and then read the mood reader book afterwards. Like I can tell myself, "No, you need to read this book. Even though you want to read this book, you need to read this book."
You're a disciplined
And
mood reader.
I guess, yeah, a
I
disciplined
like
and a
that.
mood reader kind of combined in a weird mash. But yeah,
I like that.
it's sometimes it's really difficult though.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Okay. What's a current book you're loving? Aside
I'm
from
gonna have to
mine,
say,
obviously.
huh?
Aside from mine, obviously. Although you have yet
Of
to read
course.
If I'm Broken.
Yes, I'm
Whoa.
not emotionally ready to read the
You
second
still,
book
you need to go
of
to therapy first.
yeah. I'll be sending you my therapy bill. No. I I'd have to say the Inheritance Game series, by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It is very YA. It's very easy. There's like really no big stakes, but the cliffhangers are really good. I've read 4 out of the 6 books in the series, and that's the most of a series I've ever read.
Wow.
That being said, I mean, I only started reading last year. So, like, that's I've got a lot of like this series up here. This is the Shatter Me series for those of you who are not watching the video. I haven't started one book of it. I have another couple sets of series over here. I haven't started one book of them. But they're on my shelf, so I have them for when I need them.
How many books do you have on a TBR right now?
Sorry, I broke up there. There's a little bit of static.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, can you move on to the next question? I have last count 92 books on my physical TBR.
And how many books
I don't
do
have.
you read on average a month? On average.
It really depends. January, I read 12 or 13 books in one month,
Wow.
and I've had some months where I've read like 4. It really depends. I think next month, this is May's stack
Yeah.
for books that I have to read. I think I'm gonna get through all of them because I'm very excited for that stack.
No, I see Reckless back there, right? That's the first
Yes,
book in the series?
second.
Okay.
Well, technically, it's like the third because there's Powerless, and then there's Powerful, which is like a novella, which is like a story between,
Like
and then
1.5.
Reckless.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I've been hearing so much about it, and then I heard a snippet of the audio the other day, and I love the male narrator, and I was like, I need to look this guy up because if I ever have Tiny Fractures made into an audiobook, this is the guy I want narrating Ronan. I think he would be perfect.
amazing.
Perfect. Anyways, aside from that, okay, do I have another question for you? Do you have any bookish quirks?
I always have to have a snack
A snack?
when I.
What's your go-to snack?
Oh, it varies. A lot of the time it's chocolate. If
Mm,
I'm eating chips, I eat them with chopsticks
but
so I don't get my
refrigerator
hands
chocolate,
crummy.
yes.
Pardon?
But you refrigerate your chocolate like a weirdo.
How do you know so much about my life? Is it because I posted on
Because you
the
posted
internet?
it and you did like a poll on Instagram. I was like, no, room temperature chocolate. What are you talking about?
Always cold, if not from the freezer.
Ah, that's
Like,
even worse. What do you suck on it?
I just hope my teeth don't break.
I mean, seriously. Ew. And is it milk chocolate or do you like the 90% dark?
Oh gosh, no, I'm definitely like a milk chocolate. If I had a preference, it would be mint chocolate. I love a mint
Yeah, you're
chocolate.
really weird.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, okay. So chocolate, you have to have a snack. That's a good bookish quirk.
Snack and a drink.
And
And 9 times out of 10, it's a beer.
yeah, I mean, you got to take the edge off a little bit
Yes.
after a long
Yes.
day. I'm not sure that I have a bookish quirk. But or maybe it is. My, this is gonna sound terrible, but I have to abuse my books, like cracked spines, marked up. There are usually like water spots on it. I do like the folding of the page corners to mark where I am. Like if a book doesn't look like it's been like run over by a semi truck. I was trying to see if I have a book like for show, but I don't consider it red. Like you have to be used up and ruined.
Cool though, because that shows that like you are passionate about the book. Like, do you annotate?
I do not annotate. No.
I don't
So
know how to.
yeah, I love the people that have like the beautiful sticky notes in there. I think that's
No.
so cool. And I'm always like, okay, well, what did you tab? And then they have it's color coded for a lot of them. It's like, okay, a pink tab means romantic and a blue one means sad or whatever. And I think that's so cool. That's so cool.
So cool. There's actually an Instagrammer. She actually has her own indie business, the Starlit Nook. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I have not, but I will
Um,
be looking her up right after this.
yes, we will be sending her a message possibly.
Yeah.
Um, she annotates and she has like the most beautiful. I think she's very artistically inclined, and that's something that I am not, which is why I think that I don't do it. Her book journals she should sell them. They are so pretty and illustrated beautifully and just such an aesthetic that I was like, I could never get to that level. So like, why even try? Like, you know.
I wish I could do all the things, all the things. I mean, people who make their own bookmarks, or some of the people that I worked with on some of the merch for my last book release. I'm like, this is incredible. I had a gal
Yeah.
here locally who did like the laser cut wood magnets for me. And I'm just like, this is, I mean, just so cool. I wish I could do all of that myself, because that is actually, aside from writing the book, putting together the merch, the PR boxes, is my favorite thing to do. I love working with illustrators. I love working with all the like merch creators. Ugh, I mean, my favorite freaking part. Are you looking
I
for?
was trying to look for the wood thing you were talking about because I'm pretty sure
Yeah, there
I'm
was
trying
like a
to
little
figure out.
keychain and
Oh,
and a
here it is.
magnet.
I meant to put my keys, but the only thing is Daniel chews on my keys when we're out at like the grocery store, and I don't want it to get broken. But for
Isn't
those
that
of you guys
so
who are watching
beautiful?
video, this is absolutely gorgeous. Also, let's talk about the little
The little
book as
keychain.
well.
I
For
know.
those of you who are not on video, I am showing a wooden laser cut um,
Magnet.
magnetic as it broke in my hands. I'm like, oh my god, it broke. Magnetic wooden like chain thing for your keys, or you could use it as a bookmark, and it's for Edge of Unbroken. And then also a key dangly guy. I don't know what the term is for this, but it's her book. Literally, it's like a little mini book. It's got the cover and the back, and even on the back,
The
it
blurb.
has the description, which is literally 0.01 centimeters big. So you
I
can't
know. I
see it,
can make it.
but it's
I hired some,
incredible.
and I
Even the spine, like,
I know.
where is my camera? Like, that is so cool.
I'm telling you, there are some amazing, incredible artists out there, and even bookstagrammers who create the posts. I mean, some of these reviews are
Oh,
stunning, stunning, and the
stunning.
perfect music and the perfect font and the
Mhm.
vibes. It's just like, wow, wow. I mean, so impressive. All right,
Totally.
I have another question for you. Um,
Okay. This is just interview Tyler podcast,
Interview
actually.
Tyler. Well, I throw my answers in there too. Um,
Yeah.
a dream guest that you would want to have on Little Prince, other than me,
That is,
obviously.
yeah, other than J.V. um, oh, I'm just trying to think. I think Suwana. I don't know if you know her. She blew up quite fast on Bookstagram.
She does the
She
silent
went
book
from
reviews.
like, pardon?
She does the silent book reviews too, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, I
Yeah,
love
bestie
her.
check-in, silent book reviews. She also does like her Monday moves where she chooses what she's going to read for the week. Also, I think she is part cyborg because the amount of books that she reads in a week is absolutely amazing. Like I wish that I could get to that level. But also she went from like 1,000 followers to like 140,000 followers in like I watched her. That's where I actually got the candle idea from. Because for every 1,000 or 20,000 or 10,000, she did the candles. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I love this idea. Is it okay if I use it? Because I will always ask for permission before I duplicate or reuse something. And she was like, girl, go for it. Celebrate your wins. So I did it, but in a smaller form. But I think she's super inspiring. She's authentic, which is what drew me to her because she's very much like myself. Like, I'm on this podcast, no makeup, I'm in my sweatpants. I was debating doing my hair, but I'm like, realistically, you wearing sweatpants too?
And my Ugg slippers. Nobody wants to see this.
What? I could do myself up, but who are they gonna? They're not gonna like. Who is that girl? Like, we don't know who that is. And also, authentically being yourself is probably one of the best things that you can be as I get older. I definitely appreciate my authentic self more than my done up self, I guess. But back to Simona,
Word.
she is super inspiring. She's so much fun. She, I think, started the Daub, which is the drink outfit book, which I converted into a DRW, which is a drinking, reading, and wearing. But she's so much fun to watch, and she's got such a beautiful a like supportive and just amazing and positive audience,
Yeah.
and definitely goals for me. How about you? Who is your dream guest?
My dream guest is a little bookstagrammer. She goes by Hellohappygoodmorning. And aw, I she goes by Hello, Happy, Good Morning.
She's not available.
There are, I mean, there are a few. I want to make sure that I get, because I always mess up her last name, but also a big bookstagrammer. She just so much sass, and I love her. She goes by Larry Reads.
Oh, is that Larry, the one you sent me the other day?
Yes, yes. I love her stuff.
Instant love.
And I love that she doesn't always she talks a lot about books, obviously, but the other day she posted something. She was making herself like an iced coffee or something, and I was just enthralled enthralled. I was like,
Yeah.
this is so fascinating. But yeah, I mean really anyone. And of course, if we can have like a big author on one time, that would be freaking cool.
That was going to be my next question. Who would be your dream author to have on that you get to personally interview?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there are so many. Um, Obviously Rebecca Yarros comes to mind because she's pretty sure she published like 20 books before she hit it really big with
Yeah.
Fortran. So, and that is just, and I always remind myself of that because some days I'm just like, oh my God, why am I doing this? This is such hard work, especially as an indie, because you are not just the author, you are your whole darn team, right? You're your marketer, your accountant, your bookkeeper, your all the things. And so it's just, I don't know. And she seems so authentic.
Did she start, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm actually just going to Google it right now. Did she start, because I have to assume every author started as an indie or a self-publication before they were picked up by a big traditional publishing house.
No, not always. There are a lot of authors who immediately so the way that you get picked up by a publisher is actually most publishers will not just take your manuscript cold. You have to find an agent first. And the
Oh,
agent
okay.
is there to sell your manuscript to a publisher for the best deal possible because your agent obviously gets a small cut, small, 15% is on average. So no, not every author started as an indie. I think there are a lot of indies who just like the idea of the creative control. Um, for me, that was a big, I keep bumping my table. For me, that was a big consideration for my Halfway Broken series because it is so, the books are chonky, like chonky, and they're considered contemporary romance. And when you trad publish, publishers won't usually there's so much consideration that goes into it because romance readers are very voracious. They read usually at high volume. They want quick most of the time. They're kind of looking for quick reads, especially if they've never heard of this author before, right? So publishers won't really take a risk on you if your book is longer than maybe 95,000 words for a romance novel. And my books are like twice that length. So I knew there was no way I would get those trad published, and I knew I was gonna have to go the indie route. Doesn't mean that I won't eventually try and go the trad route with another book of mine, but yeah, so just some things to keep in mind. But I don't know, were you able to find out about Rebecca?
Yeah, so no, she kind of just jumped shipped and went straight to traditional. But what does 90,000 words translate to in pages?
So it depends on um, your margins, it depends on your font size, but probably right around 250, 300 pages.
Oh wow, okay. So if I were to pick up, let's just grab I don't know, an Allie Hazelwood.
Which one
She's
is it?
got a lot of words. This one is Love Hypothesis. This
Okay,
is
let me
in the
look it up. Let
400
me
range.
see, because we can be able to find out how many.
If I'm looking at my romances, they're a lot smaller than any of the fantasies or like I'm sorry, who allowed this? For those of you not on video, I'm holding up
Well,
Quicksilver.
that's because
Who allowed
that's
this?
not considered a romance. That's a romantasy. And fantasy books do get to be longer, and epic fantasies even longer than that. So it depends on the genre, what the word count is. So let's see.
This is
Allie Hazelwood, The Love Hypothesis. Okay, well, Google is not very helpful. Oh, it's telling me an estimated 96,593 words. So right at that sweet spot for contemporary romance. Interesting, right?
interesting. Right, so
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, and then like even this book is bigger than Quicksilver. I'm holding up When the Moon Hatched.
Oh, and is that a fantasy?
This is a I think this is again a romantasy.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at knowing actually what the books are about. I just go, that looks interesting. I've heard a lot about it. I'm just gonna buy it. Put it on my shelf.
For me,
How many pages is this? Oh, interesting. 690 pages for the When the Moon Hatched, and this book is chunky. And now if I put this side by side by Quicksilver, for those of you not on video, there is a drastic difference for height
yep.
and width.
Yep.
They're both exactly 690 pages.
Interesting. Yeah, see, it will very much depend. I mean, you choose when you publish, you choose your font size, and well, that's the formatting, but you choose the dimensions of the book for printing purposes. And for indie publishers, that's important because we pay the printing cost of each book a person orders on Amazon, for example. I pay the printing cost for each individual book. And then that's already a built-in cost for me. So that comes off my retail price. And then Amazon will keep a huge chunk of the profits, right? What's left over after my printing cost. And I think I make on a paperback for my book that's $19.99, something like $2 or $3 if I'm lucky.
For those of you who do not know, please go to jvreese.com and purchase directly from her website so that she can actually make dollars on her books that she put so much thought and pressure and love and emotion into.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now. Screw Bezos, but also
No, don't screw Bezos. My books are through Amazon. I don't want him to blacklist.
No, I was just gonna say, like, screw Bezos and the fact that they're taking so much money from you, but also support your indies any way you can. If you're buying from Amazon, buy from Amazon.
Direct purchases from indies are by far the best way to go because that's the most money into the pockets of the indie. 100%. Yeah. I mean, our margins are tiny, which it makes it so upsetting when we hear about our books being pirated because we already make close to nothing on it. So,
yeah. Have you done a book convention? Like, because I'm assuming the most profit margin you're going to make is selling a book hand to hand.
Probably. I have not. I was signed up to attend a few this year, but things are a little chaotic at the moment with travel, etc. And financially, I don't want to take the risk. California, which is where I am. I live in California. Hey. Not in any like super fun part. I live where it's really hot and really dry. But so financially, I don't really want to take the risk because a lot of conventions they happen in sort of the southern states or the eastern states. So for me, it's a lot of travel. California is very expensive to hold book conventions. There are very few. And for me, I wasn't sure if with just 2 books published for now, I should invest that kind of money and go travel to book conventions. There are 2 coming up here locally where I am, and then there will be one in Vegas in August that I will be attending. It's Be Love, Spread Love. So, hey, Tyler, you want to take your man and come to Vegas and hang out?
Hop on a plane, go to Vegas.
Or drive.
It just doesn't. We could drive.
Several days.
Yeah, I will drive for a week before I will get on a plane. And it's not even because all the planes are falling out of the sky, which is probably a topic for another day. It's uncomfortable. I always get sick. The last time we were actually in Vegas when I was pregnant with Daniel, I was 20 weeks pregnant, and we went to a gigantic car show, SEMA.
Fun, yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And on the way home, I got COVID. So, yeah.
While you were pregnant?
While I was pregnant, yeah.
Oh, no.
Which was actually a good thing, because now he's got all the antibodies and stuff like that. And, he wasn't in any danger and he's perfectly fine, but it sucked.
Yeah.
So I just really don't prefer flying. But Devin might be in Vegas this year in October for SEMA because I think that, I don't know, they want to go do some, research and stuff like that for his business because he does like car stuff. So he's really in that world. But yeah, I will drive to you wherever you are. I'll come to you.
Tell you, and we can hang out in Vegas together for a week or whatever. You can come to the book convention, hang out with me there. That would be really
Oh my
fun.
God, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, it's the
That'd be so cool to sit with you and I've done quite a few tattoo conventions actually. My friend used to be or was a tattoo artist
what was that?
and
What was the quotation
yeah,
for?
there's history there.
Oh,
But I
male
did a
friend
lot of
or female friend?
no, female friend.
Hmm.
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 But I'm gonna leave it at that
Okay.
because I respect the decisions and nah, that's not true. I don't respect the decisions, but I respect the fact that they're no longer in my life.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of tattoo conventions where I would sit and host tables, and I'm very good at the hey, you come over here and get stuff. Hey, you come spend money here.
I don't know if you probably can't tell. I'm an extroverted individual for people that I know and that I trust, but otherwise I'm very introverted and I'm really bad actually at hyping up my own book. So I need help in that regard.
I'll do my best. I'm gonna try and make some stuff for you. But before we get too off
Yeah.
topic, I have a question for you.
Oh,
What is your top trope?
single parents.
Ooh, interesting.
I don't like it. I don't know why. I can't even say that I've read a book that had that trope in it, at least not that like is at the forefront of my mind where I could be like, oh yeah, that's why I'm turned off. I just don't like it.
Interesting.
But then again, when I choose romance books for myself to read, I very much just enjoy. I kind of like the new adult because to me that's exciting. Like that is everything is so new. You're trying to figure out your place in the world, which is where I still am like perpetually, even married for God, now I have to do math, and Thomas is gonna be like, you don't know how long we've been married. I don't know,
You
a
know
long
he's gonna
time.
be listening.
Yeah, we've been married a
Yeah.
long time. It'll be 18 years this summer. We got married young. We have 3 beautiful children, but still I find that new adult like sub-genre, which I guess it's not really a genre, not for trad published at least. I find that is like my niche. I like that. You can have single parent tropes there too, but it just doesn't intrigue me. I don't know. I'm a mom, so I love my kids. I would die for them, no questions asked. But I don't know. I don't want to read books. Oh, this is so bad. You might have been editing this out. Anyway.
Justin, are you asking me my 3, whatever that was at the beginning?
Yeah, anyway, so that's my my least favorite trope. And I'm also not big into like billionaire romances. Anyway, how about you?
Me off the top, third act breakup.
Really?
I hate it.
I love a good third act breakup.
No.
Love
Give
it.
me just let them fucking be happy, okay? They've gone through so much to get here. We're finally here. They're happy. Life is good. We don't need a third act breakup.
But you do.
Even though literally it is a
But
reflection of my life.
you do.
But
You just don't know it. But you
no, I know it's coming, and I think that it's just because it's so routinely used in almost every single romance ever written. I'm pretty sure I can't even think off the top of my head of a romance that I've read where there wasn't maybe not a breakup, but like a space or separation or something along those lines.
it increases
That
the space.
it's everything.
So let me tell you a little secret as an author. There are, for romances in particular, there are beats that romance authors are expected to hit. whether a reader likes them or not. It's a universally expected thing, right? That we have the meet cute, the no way, which is like when they're like, oh no, I can't possibly be this person because of whatever external factors. Usually there is what's called the dark something dark night of the heart or something like that, which is where the third act breakup comes in, or the miscommunication trope, or the oh I've made a mistake kind of thing. So there are beats that romance authors are expected to hit throughout their book for it to be a satisfactory reading experience. Isn't that fascinating? Very formulaic, and if you don't hit those, your readers are gonna be like, oh. Just like romances are expected to have a happily ever after or a happy final. If you don't have that, you can't call your book a romance. And it's women's
Interesting.
fiction. Fascinating, right?
It's important. Like, I never knew that. And I think that this is exactly what this podcast is going to bring is as a reader, my mind is more open to that trope, even though I hate it. Like, come on, do something else. Now I know that it's kind of like a requirement for the book. So when I see it coming inevitably or I get to it, I'll be like, oh, okay, the author had to throw it in. But maybe what's the definition of their third act breakup
Yeah.
in this one?
Yeah.
So it opens your mind a little bit.
Yeah, and it can be very different. I like a good third act breakup. I want to like feel all the emotions in a book. I love a book that makes me like want to throw the book across the room. I still very vividly remember, I don't remember how long ago it was, a while. I was in law school. I was reading Jay Sterling's The Perfect Game series. And in book one, I think the MMC like does something really crappy. I don't want to give it away because you should definitely pick up the book. It's older, but she's an indie author. Loved her. Loved that whole series. But when that happened, like I was reading it on my Kindle and I was like cussing, and I was like, I'm not finishing this. I'm so mad. But that's the stuff. Of course, I finished it because this is the stuff I like lived for. And I love writing it too. I love writing the like villains are so fun to write. I love writing my characters in those moments when they're really unreasonable. And book three, there's a lot of growth for me. So going back to my book because I'm writing it, but there's a lot of growth, but there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, my characters piss me off as I'm writing them. I'm like, this is the stuff though.
But that's exactly like your books, and we're going to take a second and we will spotlight your books because I think that I've never read anything. I can't, like, I wanted to do a spine versus spine, like trad and indie. I can't think of a book that is anything close to your book. And there is a lot of villainy. And I think that the way you do it is masterful because if you experienced anything like the stuff that you have in your book growing up in the 80s or the 90s, you probably did if that was just the way that children were raised. Um, it hits home and it is heart-wrenching. But the moments that you have where it's like you're high, they're high highs. Like you're like punch in the air, you're so excited, and then you dip down again. But your writing is just I like it's so masterful. It's like the word that I can like come up with because you feel like every word. Like not a lot of books can make me cry. I was sobbing at the end of Tiny Fractures.
Eh,
I was sobbing at the 3/4 mark of Tiny Fractures, but like honestly, if you guys haven't picked up Tiny Fractures, it is you're pulled in. You are right in with all of these characters. You are right alongside the friend group. You're right alongside all of the trauma. Um, if you do have like a bad history with domestic violence
read
or
the
domestic
trigger warning.
abuse, I would huge trigger warnings, but it's written in a way where I mean, I have some experience with that. So like you have I don't know, it's easy to digest, I guess. Like it's hard to digest when you're reading it because of the context, but it's easy to digest in the sense of we move past it. Like we get to another high or we get to another high point in the book. And then her second book, Edge of Unbroken, I'm gonna grab them really quick, has come out. So Tiny Fractures is this first guy, and like she said, they are chunky,
They are. They're
but totally worth the read.
pages.
Second book is Edge of Unbroken. I have not read this one because I'm still emotionally not ready from the first one,
Easy
but
to
they are amazing.
therapy.
Pardon?
They're easy to digest, but you need therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I wanted to take a moment and spotlight it because while we probably won't talk about your books on every single podcast, I think that with this one where we're getting to know each other or they're getting to know us, they should know about like the big chunk of your life, right? Is your writing, and she's an amazing author. And I
appreciate it.
I love them.
And you can get them directly on my website, jvreese.com.
There we go.
On.
Not a sponsor.
Or you can get them on Barnes & Noble. Also not a sponsor. Okay,
awesome.
Let me look at my little outline here. My agenda.
Right. Yeah, you got the agenda.
And then I was like, oh well, agenda is a stupid word. Then I was like, oh, what's the other one? Oh, gender. I'm like, no, that's not the right word. Anyway, okay, so let's see. I think we hit most points that we wanted to talk to you guys about. Is there anything else that you think for today we should mention? We have our very first guest recording in a couple of weeks. We're gonna have the Hannah Bird on. She's an indie author who just last week, I wish I remembered the date, April 30th on Wednesday, released her newest book, Every Heartbeat After. I'm reading it right now and I love it. So I can't wait to chat with her. And then we have a bunch of other people lined up. We have bookstagrammers, book clubbers, 2 other indie authors. AC writes mostly like horror thriller-ish.
Folk
horror.
Yeah.
And Melanie writes romantasy, right? I have her book of Stars and Lightning waiting for me to read, and I can't wait to talk to them all.
I can't wait to message me while you're reading.
I will.
Because it is right now, and I've read Fourth Wing, I've read Powerless, I've read other romantasy books or fantasy books, and it still stands as my number 1 fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's an indie author, ladies and gentlemen. If you sleep on indie authors and you're just like, they're not the same quality, honey, sometimes they're better.
Wrong. Multiple reasons why people decide to go the indie route. It's not, a lot of them don't even bother trying to go the trad route because they want to keep that creative control. There's no reason why indies aren't as good as trad published.
100%. I 100% agree with that.
Okay, so where can people find us, Tyler?
Well, that's a great question. Let's go ahead and plug our socials. Seems like a good place to do it. So you can find Little Prints on Instagram at LittlePrintsPodcast. We are also on YouTube at LittlePrintsPodcast.
Subscribe and follow. Isn't that what they always say? Isn't that what the kids?
Yes. Am I a bookstagrammer or a YouTuber? I don't even know how to push any of the stuff anymore. Yeah, follow us on Instagram and on YouTube. My personal Instagram is Hellohappygoodmorning. If you guys want more bookish reviews, bookish content, mom life stuff, you can find me over there.
You can find me at J.V. Reese Author on Instagram, J.V. Reese.author on TikTok. Mostly I just post about my books and my writing progress and occasionally the Little Prince stuff, but we try to keep business separate from other business. So yeah, 100%. Follow us though. For life updates, I guess.
I guess I should also mention we're on Spotify. We're under Little Prince Podcast.
Are we just going to be on Spotify? Is there... Where
I am pushing I'm trying to figure out how to get it on Apple Music. I think that's the other one. Right now we're just gonna be on Spotify for this episode. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm the content creator / editor / pardon?
The creative.
Yeah, I'm the creative and she's the administrative, so I'm still trying to figure out the how to get it on Apple, but we will be on YouTube. in video format will be on the YouTube, and the audio format will be on Spotify. Again, just Little Prince Podcast on both of them. We tried to keep it real simple.
Yeah, and Little Prince, like the print with a T, not like the prince with the crown.
Yes, subtitles like to put us as Little Prince. There ain't no princes here. It's just princesses. Uh,
Queens, baby.
awesome. I had such a fun time. I
Me
learned a
too.
lot,
This is great.
and I am looking forward to our next interview, our first interview with a guest.
With Hannah.
I hope that you guys enjoyed today. I don't even know how to end this. You end it.
I don't know. I mean, we'll miss you guys. Until next time. Bye, guys.
You say bye at the end of a podcast,
For
or do
now.
you just like go into your outro music?
Do we have outro music?
Maybe it's just our intro music, but at the
We
end.
should come up with something else, like go and be good girls.
Ooh, or go and be bad girls.
Oh, or both.
But what if there's more than girls listening? Go and be bad
People?
bees.
No, get out. Okay. Well, you know what, guys? If you have ideas on how we should end the podcast, just let us know.
Comment them down below. You will be able to comment on Spotify as well as YouTube. Also, at some point, our listeners are going to need a handle or a tag. At some point, we might even do a live where we have a phone line where you can call in and talk
That
to
would be
us.
fun.
That would be so fun. So yeah, if you have an idea of what you would like to be called, comment it down below.
Yep.
If you have an idea of, what did you say? An outro?
You said outro.
What did you say?
Did I? Did I just make that up? I thought you
You
said.
said something about commenting down below.
Yeah, if you have a good idea on how we should end our podcast episodes with,
Oh.
le fin.
Leffy?
Le fin. The end. Until later. To be continued.
There you go. Find out next time on Little Podcast. Little Prince Dang it. Find out next time on Little Prince Podcast. Little Dragon Ball Z reference there. Okay, so we've said we were gonna say goodbye like 6 times. This is the Irish goodbye, if anybody doesn't know. You say goodbye, but then you actually don't actually end anything. So
In Germany, we just slap our knee, get up, and walk away.
there we go. There we go. Maybe we'll do that for our podcast. Ready? 3, 2, 1.